So when you open Adobe Premiere Pro, you are greeted with this screen. I want you to click on New Project and the New Project window will appear. I want you to get in the habit of avoiding using untitled, so you might want to type work in progress for whichever project you're working on. Maybe it's a short film, maybe it's a music video or so on if you're media studies. And I want you to set the location to the folder that you created on your USB drive. So if you go to Browse, go to the project file and choose that as the place you want to save your project file document. Leave the rest as it is, hit OK, and then you are greeted with the editing workspace within Adobe Premiere Pro. So there are 4 distinct windows. Okay, you have the source monitor, you have the program monitor, you have the project bin, and you have the timeline. So I'm going to import some media to start. So I'm going to double click on this lettering here, double click. So I have my project folder, I have my music, I have my audio, and I have my footage. You can select the footage folder as a whole. Now, the reason why this is good, when I hit import, it will look the same within the bin window. Now, it's very easy to just drag and drop and to get started, but I cannot emphasize enough the need to stay organized. So now I know my footage is all in this lovely little folder here. So if I drop that down, it's a really good idea to switch views. And what you can do is, the good part about Adobe Premiere Pro is if you hover the cursor over any particular point, it tells you what it is. If I hover over here, I'll switch to icon view, double click on here, and then you can see all of the footage with a preview as well, and then you can play through that footage as well if you scrub along there. So if I get my first clip, what I can do is I can press control click or right click, and I can say new sequence from clip, and then it will appear in my timeline. Now this is your playhead, so you can drag the playhead along here, and then you will see that the program monitor, this window, is tied to the timeline. So when I press play on here, it plays the clip that is on the timeline. If I press pause there, you will see when I hover over, the space bar is a shortcut to start and stop. Okay, if you're noticing that the footage is playing rather slowly, you can change the view to half resolution, and that should speed it up. As long as you render it in full resolution, it's just a quicker way of editing. Okay, so another way to preview your footage before you place it onto the timeline window is to grab the clip, and you can drag it to the source monitor. You can scrub through and select which portion of the footage that you want to keep. So you might want to, you might like that part here. And now you set your in and your out point. Now if you look in brackets, you can see that the in point is I on the keyboard and the out point is O on the keyboard, and they're together on the actual keyboard as well. So if I select in, press spacebar, select out, then I can click and drag that footage to my timeline, and then it appears. So what you can do is, I'm going to zoom in on the timeline here by sliding it to the left, and I'm going to show you some basic tools. So our basic tools are, we have the selection tool, which is V, and the razor tool, which is C. So if I press play, we have this aerial shot, not shot by me by the way, playing a bit jittery. So you might want to cut about here. Okay, what you do is you press the C tool, razor tool, you clip and it creates a razor mark there. Then you press selection tool, you drag a box around this footage. Now you hit delete on the keyboard or backspace, you delete that. Now it leaves a gap of black, which is what you don't want. So you can also select that portion, and when you hit delete, it will bring that clip to exactly where you need it. So if I play that again, press play, we have this static shot there. Okay, so that is some of the basics. So the two basics are the selection tool and the razor tool. What the selection tool does, another thing that it does, is if you hover over part of your clip, you will see that it changes to this icon here. If you click, you can extend the footage. So if you accidentally cut too much, it's not destructive. You can actually bring it back, and you can slide the space out and bring more of the footage in. Select the clip and put it back into place until you are happy with the edit. Okay, let's do another example then. So if I scroll down here, let's get this image of people moving. If you like the clip, you can just click and drag it in there like that. Now there's more footage, so we need to reveal more. Get the playhead in a position where you want it. Hit spacebar or play, press this icon here. Then we have some footage of the woods. It's being a bit laggy because I'm recording my screen right now. And then we switch to slow-mo of people walking. So as you can see, it's not playing smoothly because it's not quite rendered. So what we might do is reduce that slightly. Now I'm going to show you how to add transitions. Now we have different workspaces up here. We're currently in the editing workspace, but if you want to add any effects, you click on the effects workspace and then you can add some video transitions. Now your video transitions are here. If you wanted it to fade at the beginning, or if you wanted to blend the two cuts of the overhead of the forest to the forest floor, we can click on cross dissolve and then you drag it in between the two, and then when I press play you will see that one fades into the other. Okay, if you wanted to fade from black at the beginning, you can click on film dissolve, click and drag that at the beginning, and now it will appear transparent, but when you render it, it will be black, and that's how you get a fade from black. You press play, then it fades into there, and then we can cut to the people walking in the woods in slow-mo. Now this doesn't make narrative sense. This is just to show you the basics of editing. So if we switch back to editing, you will see the familiar windows. The source monitor, which is linked to the source bin. So that's when you are previewing a clip from your project bin, and your program monitor, which is linked to your timeline. So when you play footage from here, it is reflective in your program monitor. If you want to change the source, so if I get this monkey, you can drag that to your source monitor, find the bit you like, and then drag it to your timeline. Okay, so those are the basics so far.